There's something really inspiring about being around a bunch of people that are hustling and that are growing. And I love that. Like, I love that energy for everyone that's in the space. It also gives them a network of people to ask questions to. So if they have something and they're like, does this make sense? I need a sounding board. Will you look at this X, Y, or Z? That person's immediately there. And what I find that really offers to our kind of office, our group of people, is that it doesn't slow them down. They don't have to find that resource because it's there for them. So if they're hustling and they're going and they're moving forward with something, they're able to just keep going.
With as hard as life can be, I wouldn't ask to change a thing. Everything I've been through brought me closer to you. You're worth it.
Here's the thing. When you're choosing a community partner and you're seeing the finished product, the website, the testimonials, and the wins. But behind every successful business is a whole lot of messy in between. The doubts, the risks, the figure it out as you go. And that's the part we care about. Today, I'm sitting down with Bethany Clark, one of my favorite humans. She's the founder of NewView Training here in Omaha, Nebraska. Over the past decade, Bethany's grown to Omaha's premier CPR training center. And today, we're talking about what building looked like from the ground up. Welcome to LFG with AQi. So, Bethany, one of my favorite humans. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. So, for those that might not know, Bethany has grown the premier CPR training center in Omaha, Nebraska, called NewView Training, and you are a decade in, Bethany.
We are.
Does it feel like that?
11 years.
Does it feel crazy?
It does. Yes. It feels like it was started yesterday, and at the same time, I can't imagine what it was like to not be doing this. So it feels like it was forever at the same time.
Yeah,
So.
and you're such a natural. Everybody loves you. I think, like, you're not the delicate flower that you say that you're not, but you are a delicate flower.
Yes, of course, at moments.
So, Bethany, let's roll it back.
Yeah.
What were you doing 11 or 12 years ago before you started NewView Training?
So 12 years ago, before I started NewView Training, I was the critical care educator for an ICU in the Omaha area here. And I had been in critical care for about 18 years previous to that, so it was kind of all I knew.
And you have a master's in nursing.
Yes, so, and that was kind of when I decided I needed to figure out what I was going to do when I grow up. Because everybody assumed I was going to move into more of a management position, and I wasn't really feeling that. It didn't appeal to me. And so I had to figure out what I was going to do next.
Yeah, so training CPR.
Yes.
What did that look like? Was it a problem and you said, I could fix this, or was it something that you just wanted to make more accessible and better?
Yeah. So originally it actually started off as kind of a secondary, what was going to be a secondary leg to kind of a different training program that I wanted to do specifically for advancing education for nurses, critical care nurses, et cetera. And it was an easier start, or at least I thought, right? It's like, oh, well, this is kind of a
when you call anything easy, you know
right?
It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, no, I was thinking this is kind of a pre-built program that I can start with, and then this leg will support this other stuff, and this other stuff is, turns out I love training CPR. So it's great because even though I'm training CPR all the time, it's always something different depending on whether you're training the community or whether I'm training healthcare professionals, and even within healthcare professionals, dental offices are significantly different than surgical suites, so it always kind of keeps me on my toes. And that I do not like to do the same thing 2 days in a row, so it works well for me.
That's awesome. Do you remember what the early days looked like? So,
oh my gosh.
So sidebar, Bethany and I are work wives.
Yes.
We grew our organizations together. I had started a nonprofit and we met, and Bethany's like, do you need an office? I have 100 square feet of an office available.
Here's your closet.
Right next to me. Do you remember those early days?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me, share your wisdom of how when that first started, and as we grew offices and every time we got bigger, do you remember those early days?
I do, and I was thinking back about that the other day because I have people ask me, they're like, okay, this is hard to start this up, harder than I thought, because you talk to people that have tried to start a company or a business, and they're like, wow, I mean, we've talked about this before. I did not expect these things, right? And I really honestly think a big part of it is not overthinking it. A lot of it is just plain and simple getting up and doing the work every single day and being open to those pivots kind of as they come. This doesn't look like what I thought it was going to look like. I started off training a completely different brand of CPR than what I currently train. I found out that doesn't actually necessarily fit what my bread and butter type customer is. And had to change that up completely. You know, the organizations we work with change their requirements for the certifications that we provide. And so you're always kind of on your toes about figuring that out. So yeah, I think a lot of it is just getting up and being willing to do the work and being okay with not always knowing what that's going to look like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you think there was like one area that you underestimated?
Probably the time commitment, which sounds funny because you would assume the time commitment is going to be full time, but and it is.
Oh, it's full time.
Oh, it is. Yes.
Yes.
But I think that we underestimate the fact that even if you don't have things, because training CPR classes, I have classes scheduled, right? And so you're like, oh, I'm only training X many hours today. And that's such a small part of it. Like, it's such a small part of running a company. So the CPR training, well, yes, that's what I do. I would say that's the easy part. Like, it's all the other things that you don't really think about, how much time they're going to take. You don't really know how much time they're going to take. That is always surprising, from, you know, the marketing to the financial stuff to the legal things to the just in general maintaining office space, updating things like that. You know, especially as you build a team. I mean, you know how much time and effort that takes when you're building those interactions and those relationships within a team. And even maintaining relationships with your customer base. It all takes time.
Yeah. Speaking of building a team.
Yes.
Do you remember what our office motto was?
I do.
Would you like to share it?
Can I say that? Can I say that on
Absolutely.
camera?
Yeah.
Our office motto is just don't be an asshole.
Yeah. I think everybody should have a motto very similar. Just don't be an asshole. Like, don't be a jerk.
It's keep
right?
it clean, or keep it simple,
Keep
right?
it
Like,
simple.
just keep it simple. It's
And so that, especially when I saw you hiring your first few people,
Yeah.
because you've hired quite a few people over the years.
yes.
Was there ever a time when you questioned whether or not you should be hiring people? Like, because it's such a dynamic of you're making
Balance,
revenue,
yeah.
and that revenue, I saw you every year. You would take the revenue you made and you would put that into your people. You are so good at managing people. How do you balance that between, like, because you really care. You're a fantastic boss. I've seen it. Well, you really are, and I've seen a lot of them over the
Nice of you
years.
to
Like,
say.
you're really good with people. So how do you balance that? Like, how you take your revenue and you put it back into your people. You put it back into training and
You know,
in
I
your
don't
business.
feel like it's that hard when you really care about them, because that's kind of what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a, oh, should I or shouldn't I necessarily. It's like, it's literally a matter of how much can I afford to put back in, because you want to put as much as you possibly can in. And I just think that's huge. And really the same thing goes back to training too. When you love what you do and you want it to be as good as it possibly can, reinvesting is not a hard choice. Honestly, limiting how much you reinvest is probably the biggest struggle that I have, because I would put it all back in if I could. That doesn't make sense business-wise, my accountant tells me.
Well, think about that though. How many people run their business on bottom line only?
Yeah.
And then they have an inferior product because they're so worried about like what their revenue margins are, and they don't want to put more money in. But you have created something that is in its 11th year.
Yeah.
And I would say it's the strongest year you've ever had.
Yes.
So it pays to invest in your people. It pays to invest in your space. Your space is gorgeous, by the way, because you also have like, not only
fun.
New View Training has CPR, but you also have Desk for a Day.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
We inadvertently developed a little bit of a co-working space that kind of started to be almost like a founders club, like
kind of
an
an incubator.
upstart, an incubator. Yeah. because I feel like that's the kind of people that we attract, and that's the kind of energy that we like to have in that space. There's something really inspiring about being around a bunch of people that are hustling and that are growing. And I love that. Like, I love that energy for everyone that's in the space. It also gives them a network of people to ask questions to. So if they have something and they're like, does this make sense? I need a sounding board. Will you look at this X, Y, or Z? That person's immediately there. And what I find that really offers to our kind of office, our group of people, is that it doesn't slow them down. They don't have to find that resource because it's there for them. So if they're hustling and they're going and they're moving forward with something, they're able to just keep going because they can have those conversations and they can move into the next step. And so we're able to keep a momentum. And another really important part about our office, you can take naps there whenever you need to.
I've taken a nap.
Yes.
That's a very comfortable couch, the blue couch. Sometimes you just need a 20-minute power nap or an hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know what? That's listening to your body.
Yeah.
I think that's important too.
It is.
Talk to me about the importance of having partners. So like you might not have partners, so we kind of joke that we were each other's work wives, but we both grew $1 million organizations parallel.
Yeah.
And not only did that our friendship, but also the wisdom, I think, that we helped each other building those organizations.
Yes, well, and even though you moved out on me, that's okay.
Sorry.
I've forgiven you. I still love you. You are still available if I ever have to have those conversations. And sometimes it is, founder to founder is a really valuable relationship to have. And even though you're no longer in that primary position, you're still very much active in that. And I think that's helpful to have somebody that understands. I mean, some of those conversations that we had are not just conversations you could have with anybody in any position in any job. They just don't make sense.
Right.
But when you're with somebody else who's kind of seen those same struggles, is making those same hard decisions, dealing with a lot of different personalities and a lot of different people, is huge. Just to have somebody else that understands what you're talking about.
Yeah. So in the early days of building New View Training, was there ever a time that you thought, what am I doing? This is not going to work.
Oh, of course.
How did you work
the answer
through
to
that?
Never know. Like, is there anybody that says, no, I knew I was in the right place doing the right thing?
I think they're a liar if they say
Yeah,
that.
right.
I think they're absolutely like telling a fib.
They're like, no, I was 100% sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Of course there was. Of course there was times where I'm like, is this worth my investment? Because there's balancing acts, right? So you're balancing time with your family. I mean, I have 3 kids, right? And of course they're my priority, but sometimes it feels like it's really hard to make them your priority. My husband, who has been wonderful through all this and incredibly supportive for everything, gets neglected sometimes because you are making these choices between where you spend your time and what you do with your time. Luckily, he understands because he owns his own business as well, so that's hugely helpful. But yeah, of course, there's different times where you're like, is this worth it? Is it worth what I'm doing? And I think the hardest part is when you first start, and the question is really, it's that if I stopped doing this today, would anyone have even known it existed? Right? So that initial, like, is this really making an impact? Because I think down deep in all of our hearts, yes, we want to make money, but down deep in your heart, you want to know you made an impact on something. And so knowing if I just don't show up for work, or this company ceases to exist tomorrow, will anybody miss it? Right? So that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Of, am I a real company? Am I a real thing? I think that's hard to get past. And it's not, a lot of people talk about it like, oh, you get past the first year or the first 5 years. There's this magical hump that you get over. I don't know that that's true.
So I want to just point out, you have a very specific role that not only are you making an impact, but how many thousands of people have you trained in CPR? And if you think about CPR, it's a life-saving procedure, right?
Yeah.
So your impact has
a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. Yeah, you're kind of a big deal.
Well, what I train is definitely a big deal.
So I just wanted to have the correlation of like somebody like Bethany Clark, and that she's having these doubts that, am I making impact? How about the person that is their first time entrepreneurial experience and they're like, am I making impact? And that imposter syndrome is real.
Oh, it is. It's huge. It's a huge battle. And again, you know, we talked about earlier that a lot of it is just plain and simple being willing to get up and do it. And that means even on the days where you're not quite sure if you're doing it right, or you're not quite sure if you're making an impact. And I think, again, that's what a lot of people refer to it as hustle, right? That's the hustle, is just that you're getting up and you're doing it, even when you wake up and you have those days where you're like, oh, like,
I got to do this again.
and yeah, just doing it and going through the motions. And then of course there is value in reevaluating and being like, if at some point you're getting that feeling a lot, and you and I have both had to do this, and we've done it in rooms together where we're reevaluating that and saying, I've been having this feeling a lot. Is that a pivot? Like, is this something I need to shift? Because, you know, while I say, yes, sometimes you just need to walk through it, you also need to kind of listen to that intuition.
But the importance of the pivot.
Oh my gosh.
Like the importance of taking in all that information and realizing you have to pivot, I think that is so important for entrepreneurs because I don't know any entrepreneur that hasn't had to pivot. Like you're taking in information.
They're not entrepreneurs anymore.
Exactly. If they didn't pivot, they're probably out of business, right? Like you're going to pivot a couple times.
Yeah.
And so like the ability to take in information and to take that information and change your assumptions and your direction. Tell me at a time that you had to do that and you had to overcome it. Like, was there some time that happened in the last couple of years that you really had to pivot?
Gosh, I'm trying to think of a specific example or a specific pivot. You know, there's been a lot of things. Oh, well, I mean, we could talk about COVID.
That's a huge win for your business.
I mean, we could.
You know what? I think that's a perfect pivot because here you are. You're hands-on.
Yeah.
How do you teach CPR in person?
We didn't do a lot
during
of mouth to
COVID.
mouth. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of mouth to mouth during COVID. That was a problem. But yeah, that was a huge pivot moment because we honestly, you know, they sent out that announcement that like non-essential businesses need to shut down. Well, we're not working in a hospital. I mean, we work with healthcare providers. So we're like, gosh, is that us? Is it not? I don't know. I mean, we were preparing to be like, maybe we shut down classes. Maybe we figure out how to go online. What are we going to do?
In the meantime, people still need their certifications to do their job.
Yes. Not only do they still need their certifications, but what was really interesting was within days, we started getting huge waves of people because our travel nursing agencies here were providing a ton of the healthcare providers for like New York and other areas that were hit way harder than us. And so we would get entire classes of like, I have 15 healthcare professionals that I need to send over with their BLS, ACLS, and PALS certifications. So advanced certifications. I need them to ship out 3 days from now.
Yeah.
And so
kind of felt like you're in the military.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
I mean, you were really
it was
like
very
getting
much
ready
like
people
these,
for the front lines.
Yeah, and I mean, it was not only urgent, but it was very emotional. They knew they were going kind of to war. They were going to the front lines, and that was a huge pivot for us because we went from thinking one day we were going to shut down to training almost 3 times our normal capacity. And trying to alter our cleaning, our classroom setups, I mean, you know, we got those, the UV air filtration systems that we set up in the classroom because we had classrooms.
Had a case of hand sanitizer.
We still have some of that hand sanitizer.
You do. It's at the bottom level. I've seen it recently. So much hand sanitizer.
Much.
Does that go bad?
I don't know.
Does it? Because it has been around a while.
It has been around a while. I don't know. We were actually talking about donating it the other day. We're like, we need those shelves back.
That's
we
so
still
funny.
have so much hand sanitizer.
So how did you overcome that? You had this huge demand on classes. You didn't have as many trainers as you were ready for.
We went to work.
Yeah, you got up every day and you hustled. You made it happen.
Yeah, we did long days.
You said LFG.
Yes, we did. We said LFG, and we just did the work.
Yeah.
And we did grow quite a bit that year. You know, we had available help because there were some people that were stepping back from positions they did, so that was nice. We were able to bring in and rapidly train up additional trainers for that. A lot of it was just our core group just saying, all right, let's figure it out, let's make it happen, let's change our processes. And yeah, I'm lucky. I've had a lot of amazing people I've worked with over the years, like a lot of really great people. And that I think is huge too. It helps when you want to show up to work.
Yes, and you like the people that you're working with.
Yeah,
it makes all the difference. Especially when you're the CEO, you can hire the people.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time it's hits. Sometimes you're going to get your misses, but it happens.
Yes.
So let's kind of like roll it back. So we're going to kind of go into what we call the LFG section. So that's launch,
LFG.
fund, grind.
Yes, that's what I thought it
That's
meant.
exactly what LFG means. So thinking back when you launched, what was the biggest mental hurdle that you had to launching?
Oh my gosh, those first few phone calls. I mean, there's always the work behind the scenes of figuring out what does this actually look like, because I had to have specific certifications and understand specific platforms and how those worked and how we could do that. But that was work. I mean, that was just kind of normal work. Those first few phone calls where you're cold calling people and you have that imposter syndrome and you're like, hi, this is Bethany. I'm the owner. I'm the owner of Newbie Training and we do CPR. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, do we? Like, can I? And especially when you're reaching out to these bigger companies and they're like, well, we have 400 staff we need to train. I'm like, absolutely. Like, oh my God, swallow. Like, it's scary because there's a lot of that questioning of, can I? And, you know, we've talked about this. My motto has always kind of been say yes and figure it out later. Like, yeah, absolutely. We can do that. We can take care of you.
I love your confidence.
Yeah.
I think every entrepreneur needs that confidence because it always does work out.
It does. It does.
You
I
hustle
honestly,
it until you make it work
I
out.
honestly can't think of any where I've said yes and then I've been like, I can't figure out how to make this happen.
Yeah. That's what we do.
Yeah,
as entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. I think it is part of that entrepreneurial spirit that people talk about, and you can't really define it, but I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of talked about how you got started in the mental hurdle that you had of the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
One thing that maybe men don't have to think about is their wives and family if they're starting something new. Do you think Dave
Well, I
ever
hope they
stopped? Do you think Dave was like, or do you think, okay, well, it's just, okay, I'll scratch that. We don't have to talk about that if you don't want to. I don't want to talk about your husband if you don't want to. No, so I'm thinking like if you have, because you're the second interview we've done today and the spouse has come up.
Yes.
So when men sit down to start something, are they like, how's this going to fit into my family time in the baseball practices?
Yeah. I think that's an interesting question because I do think a lot of times they kind of have just an innate belief that this is the role space they're supposed to be in, is that, you know, work and support the family. And so I think there might be a little less of that. I've been really lucky in that, I mean, Dave contributes so much to the family and does so many things and takes the kids, well, when they were home, we're almost empty nesters. It is nuts.
Yeah.
But, you know, he participated in all of that stuff. But I do think across the board for a lot of other women entrepreneurs that I see, that men probably have an easier time dropping that role space and moving into the out of the home provider space. It just seems to be a little bit more culturally acceptable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that can be a challenge. And I think mom guilt's a real thing. Like even
100%.
though Dave's great at stepping up and you know doing those things, it doesn't mean that I don't feel like I should still be doing them. So regardless of whether you know you have a partner that's able to step into that space, even if you've got somebody who's willing to do that, I'm still going to feel bad about not doing it.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, I mean, it is what it is. It's just part of it.
How did you first fund your endeavor? Like when you started, you're like, I'm going to do this. And I think our first rent was probably like $300 a month.
Yeah,
do you remember that first office? It was a tiny office.
It was. But I actually started off from home.
Okay.
So my only investment was I had to purchase a set of CPR mannequins. And they were not super fancy. Like I found the picture of them the other day. They're these bright red mannequins, and I'm sitting on the couch at home, and I'm like, Dave, take a picture.
Look at my business. My business colleagues.
Holding my mannequins on the couch, like holding the baby and like the mannequins, and being like, take my picture. That and then a few back-end operational systems was really it. So I was really lucky in that my initial startup cost was pretty low, and then you know, a lot of that output was my time, and then I would get paid on that, and then, like I said, roll that back into the business. So that helped that I started from my home, and I trained on site a lot.
And you really built your business on your revenue streams.
I did, yeah.
Which is incredible.
Yes.
Like very few businesses have a tangible revenue stream right out the gate.
Yeah.
And I think yours is a nice, it's service-based.
Yeah.
So you had that. Do you remember your first big client?
I was thinking about that actually this morning. I was talking to Nicole about that and saying, you know, what a big jump that was to go into that first space and wonder, you know, I mean, because here I am with one bag, my entire business, right, is in this bag between the laptop and the, you know, the mannequins and stuff like that. And walking in and, again, kind of feeling like a little bit of a fraud. Like, they have no idea this is it. Like, they think there's something else going on behind the scenes because I'm walking into this space where I think a lot of professionals that were way further along would come in and train. So yeah, again, it's scary. Yeah. It's scary. You have to be willing to do scary things and to be willing to fail if you do and be like, that's just part of it.
And to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Like you had to make those phone calls to get that. So today, you're 11 years in.
Yes.
11 years. Could you share maybe your success and like your revenue? Are you self-sustaining at this point?
We are, yes.
Yeah.
We are
and how much
money.
Let me ask you too. How much have you invested in like so I go to your office now and you have so much equipment.
Right.
Like you have every kind of like mannequin. You have the infant mannequins and the adults. You have the
airway
hospital chairs.
Yes,
and you
gurneys,
have EMT, like everything. Like you're self-sustaining. And how are you doing with revenue?
Yeah, really well. We are, as far as what our cost is, we are almost doubling that each month, which is incredible. Has kind of always been a goal of mine, and so it's exciting to be really close to that. But again, like you said, as soon as we do that, I'm like, oh yeah, I have more money. We got our first smart board. You saw our smart board, I think, last time you were there. That was huge. That was a big expense, but it's nice because you can roll it to different classrooms. So yeah, and I actually invested, this sounds crazy, going on to 11 years, I actually invested in marketing for the first time really in 11 years.
I can't believe you grew that much without a marketing strategy. I mean, you really word of mouth, but it goes.
Healthcare is a huge but small industry in Omaha. Though.
And you have such a great reputation for what you do. Your customers love you.
We hit 100 5-star reviews this week.
That's amazing.
Congratulations.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. I mean, isn't it nice though that you're not only doing something you love, but people love that you're doing it. And I've actually heard customers say, like, I love your trainer, but we don't get Bethany today. Yeah. Like, that's got to feel kind of good.
Yes.
But your trainers are also well known for being like good for what they do.
Yeah. We've worked really hard to have a consistent brand of when one of the trainers from New View Training shows up, this is what you're going to get. You know, and that's something that I'm really proud of, that I feel like all of our clients every single time are going to get good, high quality training. So I think that is something that we strive for.
I want to just shift a little bit. We're going into the summer season.
Yes.
In the past, you've offered babysitting and you've also offered like safety kind of at home. Give me your best pitch on why you should have your children trained in CPR.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Or that babysitter CPR.
Yeah, right. So no, I think babysitter training and the other program that we talked about is Safe at Home, where they might not be babysitting, but kids might be staying home by themselves. Is really important for a lot of reasons, and one of the main reasons is just plain and simple putting kids in a space where they actually think about that kind of stuff. You know, prevention and awareness are huge with kids because they've been in spaces where they've always been cared for. So when you expect them to move into that caregiver role, there's a lot of things they just don't really consider, right? Everything from if you're going to go outside, if you're going to do this or that, what are the things you need to be prepared for? A lot of times kids just show up in that space and expect that to be okay. So when you're expecting them to switch into a mindset of, what do I need to consider as far as bringing, doing, that kind of thing? Yes, that's huge. And we talk a lot about that. We talk a lot about being safe. We talk about how babysitting is kind of their first business, right? So what is a good way to market? What is not a good way to market?
You're literally teaching the next entrepreneurs
how
to be entrepreneurs. I love that.
And how to be safe doing it, right? Your parents need to be on the email with you. Don't put your picture out there for everybody. So that's part of the curriculum. But of course, the part that I'm most passionate about is, what do you do in an emergency? What do? You don't have time to ask Siri, right? You don't have time to get on your phone and Google it. In a true emergency.
No time for YouTube videos.
No time for that. No time for that. Because let me tell you what, we have a whole generation that can do phenomenal things through YouTube videos. This is not one of them. So
Choking and CPR is not like, hold a minute.
Right.
Let me just get this
Just
pulled up.
hold that thought. I will be right back. So having not only the knowledge, but the confidence to be like, oh, I know this. I know what to do, even though it's scary.
Yeah.
It gives them the capacity to step into that space with at least a little bit of confidence and know what to do. And there are multiple documented cases where kids as young as 9 have done CPR and saved lives. It is not necessarily, it's not only an adult skill, it's something that kids can do. And it's absolutely something that all kids should know how to do. We've been getting a lot of people into our family CPR classes, and we have parents and kids that come together to that. And they talk about what do we do in an emergency? How do we respond in an emergency? And yeah, it's huge. It's a skill that everybody should have. A lot of people that actually come in because they have a pool or because they live on a lake and they bring their families in because of that. Again, something you don't have time to Google. If you need to resuscitate someone who has just been pulled out of a pool or a lake, that's something that you're going to need to be able to jump into action really quickly, because for every minute that there's not bystander CPR done, their chance of survival decreases by 10%. So when you consider your average ambulance response time of 5 to 8 minutes, and that's if you're not out like by a lake or something like that, right? That's like Omaha metro area.
You're not in Bennington. You're not like,
They're approximately 8 to 10 minutes out. You're 80% mortality. Like you don't have the option to not know the skills. And unfortunately, one of the things that bums me out is a lot of times we do see people that come to classes because there's been an emergency and they didn't know what to do. And if I could change one thing, it would be that people don't wait until they need it to learn it, because then it's too late.
Yes.
Do it, learn it now. What's the downside?
Yeah.
It takes 2 hours of your day.
And it's inexpensive.
It's not expensive. Yeah, it really isn't. And our family CPR classes especially, we've made those very affordable, because the first person signs up and they can bring 3 additional people very inexpensively. Like, we've built it so that there can be groups of people that come together to learn the skills.
I'm so glad that's accessible to everybody.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a big deal to know that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. Well, we're kind of going to wrap up here, but before we do, I know, this is so fun. We'll have to do another one like really soon. 2 more questions.
Yes.
Okay. What advice would you give to your younger self? Would you do this again?
Yes, I would do this again. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's been fun. I love the challenges. I would absolutely do it again. Probably just the way that I grew my business, I might do that a little bit differently, but I don't even have a whole lot of complaints about that. And I don't know what that would look like. I don't know what I would do differently. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that because I don't know that it's super valuable.
You're so forward marching. Like, you're like, let's, like you said, you were able to pivot, and you don't lament on what's gone wrong.
I don't.
You're like, how can we make this better?
And
I
also,
love that
know,
about your personality.
I know that I could say, oh, well, if I would have done this differently, but let's be honest, I have no idea if it would have changed things or not changed things, if it would have been better or worse. So, yeah, again, I think it's that, let's just do it. Let's do the next thing.
Yeah. So, last question. What's next? When Bethany, you've been doing New View training for 11 years, what is your next entrepreneurial idea?
Oh my gosh, so many.
I know you have a lot.
There's so many things I want to do when I grow up. I mean, right now we're expanding our reach. We travel a 3-hour radius, but we have requests from multiple areas to actually move into that area. So we're looking at if we're going to open up other locations.
That's incredible.
Which would be really exciting, but there's a huge difference between being busier, which I don't have any interest in just being busier, and actually, bringing value to both the company and that space. And so that's kind of what we're focused on right now, is what does that look like if we do expand and move into spaces? Can we bring value to them? Does that bring value to the brand? And just kind of measuring and playing with those. And we're lucky. Omaha has such a great entrepreneurial community that there's a lot of resources for that. So I've got a few meetings set up with people to kind of talk about that and those options, because we've got a lot of experts that we can call on in the area, and I'm fully intend to use them.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
And then if people want to learn more about New View Training, how can they follow your story?
Yeah.
How can they get CPR certified? Like, how can they follow you?
well, we do a lot of really fun posts on Facebook if they want to see ridiculous dances and things like that. My social media gal does a great job of doing kind of funny things. So yes, New View Training on Facebook is a lot of fun. I believe she also has us on Instagram. I don't do a lot of Instagram, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure she has us
You
on
are.
there.
You're on your reels.
You're
there.
like you
I
are.
see
You're
'em.
on Reels.
I
Okay,
see 'em.
perfect. Yes, of
Yes.
course. We're on Instagram. I knew that. And
what's your website?
newviewtraining.com.
Okay.
Super hard. And it's just the way it sounds. There's no funky spellings of it. It's just NEWVIEW training.com. All of our information's on there.
Awesome. And if somebody wants to sign up for CPR classes, they can go to your website.
Yeah, we've got about probably 6 classes per week available, so no excuses for not finding a time that works.
Now's the time.
Now's the time.
If you have a kid at home alone, if you are around a pool, or really anything, you need to know CPR. So.
And honestly, if there's not a time that's on our website, call us. We set up independent classes at a time that works for people all the time.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Bethany, this has been a joy.
Thank you so much
Love
for
you so
having me.
much.
Love
Thanks
you
for
too.
being here.
Yeah.
As always, if you want to learn more about our guest at New View Training, make sure that you visit newviewtraining.com. Check out New View Training socials, and thank you so much for being here with LFG with AQi.
Sidebar for our investors and the SEC. Investing in Reg CF offerings involves risk, including illiquidity and the possible loss of your entire investment.
New View Training is a company that's been local to Omaha here. I started about 11 years ago. Our main training that we do out in the community is CPR, AED, and basic first aid. Your general emergency response, like I said, so people know how to respond in case of emergency. Everybody should get CPR trained. It is so important to have someone both in your home, in your community, in your church, at the daycare. Coaches need to be all trained in this because it can happen anywhere, and unfortunately the majority of the time it is somebody that you know or love that needs help. If an emergency happens in public, people aren't comfortable responding. All of our instructors have years of healthcare experience behind them. All of our instructors have done the actual skills that we're training people how to do. The community that we see in our classes and the response we see from our students as far as how they're learning what we're teaching them is always really great. Classes start off a little quiet, and within a few minutes of getting into class, you get to see a lot of really great energy in class. By the time we're practicing compressions, everybody's helping each other, having conversations, and everybody leaves feeling much more confident about how they would respond in an emergency. The chance of somebody surviving decreases by 10% for every minute that goes by with no bystander CPR. And we always talk about that in classes, how if that's your loved one, would you want somebody around that would be able to save them?
As hard as life can be, I wouldn't ask to change a thing.